We talked about this back in October when there was some significant news on this front. And now the inevitability is caught up with Family Video. America's last remaining video rental chain is soon to be no more. Family Video announced it will be closing its remaining 250 stores beginning today. This ends the company's 43-year run. It's based in Glenview, Illinois, which I didn't know until somewhat recently. Like within the last couple of years, I didn't realize that Family Video was based in Illinois. But being the three of us being Illinois boys, that takes a little bit greater significance there. The inventory is going to be sold off at the remaining stores. So once they sell out everything or most of it, they will close. And also at familyvideo.com. And let me tell you, I went to familyvideo.com. They got a merch store. That damn crewneck sweatshirt is calling my name. It really is. There's a gray sweatshirt with the logo on it. And I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to buy that for nostalgic purposes. But we talked about this back in October. Family Video announced that they'd close over 200 stores, including all the ones in our area, because I didn't mention this, because I hadn't done it when we talked about this topic. I actually did it the following weekend. I went out and I went to 3 different Family Video stores, 4 technically, but the one was already closed. I went to 4 video stores back near my hometown, 4 Family Videos to go through the liquidation sales and everything and, pick up a couple items. And I did. I wound up getting a handful of DVDs and such. And I also wanted to get a few of those clear because you guys, I was going to say, I know Dominic grew up with Family Video. I know Joe was more Blockbuster, if I'm remembering correctly.
He's
were more
already
Blockbuster.
gone through this.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I was more of a Blockbuster kid growing up. I got to go to Family Video near the end of its life. I think the first time I went there was in 2015 or 2016.
Oh, sure.
Oh, very late. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dominic will know this though. I did wind up. They actually let you buy for some of the DVDs in which they didn't have cases for. They let you buy that clear plastic case with the barcode on it.
Hey.
So I have a few of those. I have a few of the Blockbuster ones too, back from about 10 years ago when they closed. So I wanted to have a few of those Family Video cases just to tell my disinterested children years from now. But so I went there, and I mean, I'm just going to start by saying this, and I'll throw it over to you guys, the reaction to this news. I'd like to say it was kind of fun going to those Family Videos and kind of weeding through the stock. But I mean, like all the stores I went through were picked through. They had maybe one wall of DVDs, and that was about it. And then there was candy and snacks, and then there was like CBD oil. Which I'm sorry to say, the real thing is legal in Illinois. You don't need to settle for CBD. You don't need to settle for CBD whatsoever. But, it was almost like a depressing kind of experience going into the Family Videos when they're on the last leg. Some of these you can clearly see have been bisected and cut down in real estate to accommodate the neighboring store or whatever, usually a pizza joint or another store of some sort. And it's sad because now, I say God bless the independent video stores that still exist. And God bless, too, and I know they've taken a beating this year, the independent bookstores, which I love. Even the corporate ones like Half Price Books, but like the independent mom and pop bookstores that are kind of the last resort for secondhand DVDs, secondhand movies in that regard, and I'll leave it at this and then turn it over to you guys. Matt Singer, great film critic, mentioned too. He's like, I can't wait to tell my children about video stores who will look at me crazy because they can press 2 buttons and then stream any show they want. They could stream Paw Patrol in just a matter of 2 buttons. So it hurt, and it's literally close to home, the news about Family Video closing. I'll throw it over to Dominic. Dom, your thoughts when you heard the news this morning about Family Video?
It's inevitable. It was inevitable. So it's like, yeah, it's this is gonna be too depressing. But it's like that family member that's been in hospice for 2 years, and it's like, yeah, today was the day. Okay, very very depressing. I'm sorry, but that's kind of how it felt. Where it's like, yep, it was gonna happen, and now is particularly the time. I think this is the year for it. Yeah, man. At the risk of repeating myself, I should say actually, I'm not gonna visit. I'm not gonna do one last hurrah at any family video because, like Steve said, they just look depressing to go back into. Like I'm gonna preserve the memory. I really do. I think the last time I went into a family video, which was the family video I went to, that was the one that I went to. I think it was preserved, or at least in the sense of they had the full store. It wasn't half of a Dollar General or whatever. They didn't have CBD. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like just that, that shows you the era of which I'm talking about. And yeah, man, it's like I can see it in my mind. Like I think on my deathbed, my eyes will flash before my eyes, and I'll be brought to a place of like memory from the olden times. And if it's not my parents' house, it'll probably be a family video, just because like I really did, again, repeating myself from last time we talked about this, that is a true relic from my youth. And I don't have a lot of chances to say that because I don't really care about much of them. It's like, oh, what, the Steak and Shake? Oh no, Steak and Puke? No, I'm all right. I'm good. But like family video, it's like, I can't defend this like its model. Like there's no scenario where this thing survived unless it radically changes, like even more so than what they were attempting to do. But it just, like, I can smell it, I can, by extension taste it. But I can feel the carpeting, if because when I was a kid, sometimes I would get down and crawl to see the bottom shelf on that thing or whatever, or look at the games, the PlayStation 1 games, which was and then when the first Xbox came about, and all that stuff. It's like I remember I can see the evolution of the console games. Went from PS1, Xbox One, and the original Xbox, then PS2, 360, and it's like I can see that evolve. The bathrooms, they kind of got better, so it's all memory there, and it's very hard to describe. Only us, I think, people in our generation can really relate to it. But everyone has that thing. And I think family video is one of the few that I can say that are mine.
That's well said, because we've talked a lot about the movies and like the video rental store, but it was also a hub for games and new games. And I remember too, this is a random ass memory. And I know we've kind of shared memories back in October when they announced they were closing 200 stores. I'll never forget, is still to date the first M-rated game I ever played. And my buddy, I remember I went to my buddy's house, my good friend, and who I'm still friends with to this day. And I remember he was like, dude, you're not going to believe this. We were like maybe 8 or 9 at the time. He's like, my dad let me rent an M-rated game because he didn't know any better. And you know what that game was? It was Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That was a lot of people's first. Yeah.
That was
my
mine.
first too.
That's so sweet. I played San Andreas a hell of a lot more. I have more memories of that game than Vice City. But like playing that game, and it was family video. That's where it was from. Yeah. And going into family video too, and seeing like Dom brings up a good point. I mean, we're a movie podcast, but he brings up a good point because it's like you would see, and you're a little bit older than us, but like you would see the PlayStation 1 games, the Xbox games, and then you start to see the PlayStation section get smaller in favor of PS2.
Yeah,
then you start to saw the Xbox, take prominence, and you would see like GameCube, and then it slowly became the 360, a new generation of console wars and stuff. So
and then like the PS1 games are like a bottom, like half a shelf on the bottom left or something, last breath,
or in the bin at the middle of the aisle, or in the bin at beginning of the aisle and stuff, for sale. Like you saw the progression of generations and legacies, for video games in that regard too. That's not to be lost on. Joe, I know your memories of family video aren't as grand as the other video stores, but like, reaction to the, like Dom said, and I said earlier, the inevitability of this news that Family Video is going to be no more.
It's sad. I mean, regardless, like the fact that I didn't grow up with it, it's just sad to see something one that's just like so close to a lot of people, like with you two guys, and close to one of my friends as well, who she's the one that took me there, and her family like had a card there and everything, or some kind of membership if I remember correctly. I wish I went to this place more. I really did. It sucked that, of course, like when I started going to it, video stores were dying out because I was like, well, I mean, I don't really want to get off the couch when I could just rent something from a streaming service, whether I have to pay for it or not. Because what's the difference if I go to a store or rent it off of Vudu? I'm still gonna be paying money. But damn, I mean, like, I wish I knew about this sooner before like Netflix and everything started blowing up. Because before I even subscribed to Netflix, my parents went from Blockbuster Video, and then Blockbuster started closing down around us, to then Hollywood Video, and then Hollywood Video started closing down. And then we went to, instead of like going to like probably the next best thing, which would have been Family Video, we went to Redbox, and then finally like the streaming stuff started really booming around that time. So yeah, I never understood why we never got on the train of Family Video. And like walking into that store, whether it was in 2015, 2016, or maybe even 17, I walked in there and it still brought me back to the times walking the Blockbuster, because I wish I had my friend here to tell you, but like I literally ran around the store going like, oh my god, it's a video store. Like it brought back so much like excitement and hype, just seeing older movies, newer movies on the shelves next to each other, wondering, oh my god, I have one choice to make. What do I get? Like just bringing back that excitement again. Yeah, I really wish I got to go to this place more. It's sad to see it go.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, I mean, I've been using too like Wikipedia since I was a kid, but there was something to find out about different things, obviously different events and different movies, but there was something really uniquely compelling going into a video store, picking up the case of a movie you'd never heard of and reading the back of it. That's all you had. You didn't have your phone to look up the IMDb score. You didn't have Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that. It was the movie, and it was the case, and you read the back of that. You read the pull quotes of 4 stars and Roger Ebert,
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up, baby. And you had Richard Roper and all these other, Elvis Mitchell and all these other film critics. And that was it. It was a decision-making process, with that.
Of a time before, really going back before YouTube even, right, affected movies, before the movie going experience, before Reddit, before the Metascore of IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and oh my god. And this is getting really boomer, like just old men reminisce essentially to all of our younger viewers, if they do exist. It's like I know, but like I will say to anyone who is younger and can't really relate to this is us having that realization now, and you will have that eventually. Maybe it'll take 10 years, maybe it'll take 15 years, but it's inevitable. Maybe your thing will be movie theaters themselves, and we'll be right there with you. I don't know. I hope not, but you never know. And Family Video is certainly, God, you're totally right, Steve. I would spend not hours, because my dad had like a tolerance for how long we would actually be there, but
my mother could tell you stories. My mother could tell you stories.
In my lifetime, overall, I probably did spend literal hours looking, just browsing the back of VHSs, and then eventually browsing the back of DVDs. And like, God, like here's a good metric. How many Land Before Times did you see on that kid's shelf before you stopped caring about the kid's shelf? You know what I'm talking about? So it's like, God damn.
And with my Family Video, I always remember the kids' movies. They always had sun-faded covers. Like their covers were always faded because they were right against the window front.
Yes.
And the sun would beat on them all day, and they were drenched, like they were completely washed out. Yeah, and it just added to the aesthetic.
Someone make a radio station out of that, where it's faded Family Video kids section by the windowsill, and you can have like kind of like general emptiness. Occasionally someone rings through the door, and then like you'll hear, did you have a TV Did you have a TV? Like TVs around the corners on yours?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
we
same
did.
here. Actually, did we go to
Yeah,
the same one? We
we
can't
probably
say.
did.
I don't want to say
We-
where
Yeah, I don't
it
want to
was.
say that. We probably did go to the same one.
Okay.
But yeah, because mine was a sizable one and it had multiple different TVs around the whole place, and like there was no music playing. It was just the audio of whatever movie was playing, which added to the
exactly.
ambiance of it all. And I even remember too. I was gonna say I know I'm young, but like I do remember vividly VHS tapes. At Family Video, they used to be stuffed with styrofoam. I remember the cases used to have styrofoam in them.
I was at the tail end of that too. We're not that old, but I do remember VHSs to a good degree as well, particularly when I was a kid. So a lot of kids movies I did watch on VHS.